Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 76th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fan fic is Heroes. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 76, Exam Results. All of the hero students who made it to the second round were nervous. After all, there was a big deal. After all, if they passed the exam they would considered heroes, provisional heroes, but heroes nonetheless. They all looked for their names on the board. Izuku looked through the board. Not everyone had passed. There more than 150 that didn't pass for one reason or another. Izuku found his name on the board. I passed, he said very happily. He looked at his classmates who searched their names. Various classmates began to cheer as they passed too. He looked at Katsuki. Fuck yeah! I passed, said Katsuki. He then looked at his classmates. Don't you fucking dare bring up the leash. He practically growled out, once we leave this building it is never to be spoken of again. Everyone in class 1 nodded. He was giving them some leeway, but it was clear that leash was a one-time thing that he only agreed to because he had to. Why did you agree to the leash? Asked Kirishima. I mean, it was the hard way. I figured whatever it was would get me the license, muttered Katsuki. Okay, that is a good point, laughed Kirishima. Katsuki glared at his friend who quickly backed away. I passed too, cheered Toru. Everyone saw that Toru had some of the highest points. Why is your point so high? Yelled Mina. Oh, that's because I was part of the first aid and comfort team. I didn't lose that many points due to being so great at it, but I did freak people out, admitted Toru. Everyone's sweat dropped. Over the course of the next few minutes they all looked at the results and indeed all of Class 1A had passed. To those who didn't pass this round, well, there's always next time, said Mera. The class all sweat dropped at his bluntness. Those that passed the exam please reset your licenses and an evaluation of your results, said Mera. And it took a while, but all of their licenses. So what did it say? Ida asked Izuku. Oh, it mentioned a few things, also mentioning the leash, said Izuku. You were the best option to hold it, pointed out Tenya. I know, said Izuku. Hey, does your evaluation mention the leash? Asked Kaminari. Bakugo looked at him with a calm yet murderous look. You better get it out of your system, because I really mean it, muttered Katsuki. Kaminari nodded and slowly backed away. Hey, don't worry, Katsuki. My evaluation mentioned weird things too. Like how I scarred the members of HUC Minds when I did some of the things I did, said Toru. It's why I didn't get a perfect score. Yeah, but you half expect that, said Katsuki. Yeah, said Toru. Why is he civil with her? Fought Kaminari with a sweat drop. What he didn't know was it because Toru was one of the few in class that actually was his friend during his lowest point. Of course he would be civil with her. He would also be civil with Kota, but he wouldn't make fun of him because of what happened. Momo on the other hand was blushing at her evaluation. Hey, what does yours say? Asked Kyoka. Oh, it's praising me for my leadership skills, said Momo blushing. I guess they noticed that I was the one leading the charge. You do deserve that praise, agreed Mashireo. She had multiple stints in her past life as the guild leader, so it made sense, but to hear it from her classmates in his life filled with her pride. With everyone in Class 1 having gotten their license, they got out of their hero uniforms and headed to the bus. As they headed towards the bus, Izuku looked around at the various hero students, many of them celebrating their getting their licenses. He noticed that Kami was leading a few of her fellow Shiketsu students in a pose for a selfie, including Inasa among them. He did notice that the purple-haired students seemed to be glaring at them. He knew he didn't see that one student make to the next part of the exam, so it made sense that he noticed the Ketsubutsu students. Many of them seemed happy, including Shindo, and he couldn't help but to scowl at him. He also noticed that Violet Boy, who gave him the thumbs up. Izuku smiled at the boy, knowing that in the future they would probably be good allies considering he seemed rather nice. He also noticed that girl who wanted to go against Momo looking at her, as if waiting for the perfect chance to do so, but not at that moment. Class 1A weren't the only ones who passed after all. Nearby Aizawa was checking his texts. "You better believe I have the best stuff tonight," was the first text. Followed by, "I've heard some interesting things about your drunk behavior. I can't wait to see it tonight." Aizawa started at the text. Part of him wondered if that was Aiko hijacking it or not. He put his phone away as his students walked towards him. Achiko noticed that Izuku was looking around at all of the other students from the school. "Hey Deki, you alright?" asked Achiko. "Sorry, I'm just happy," admitted Izuku. "Oh?" asked Achiko. "It just feels like everything going to go perfectly for a while, you know what I mean," said Izuku. Achiko nodded. "You're right," she said. She started to blush and fiddle with her fingers. However, if something could be learned from his past life, it was never tempt fate. That was when they heard a scream behind them. They turned around and saw something that truly horrified them. Somewhere good had appeared, and from that good a nomu was coming out. And all over nearby, more nomus had started to appear. And more appeared. It must have been close to 100. Izuku couldn't help but to stare. After all, most of the schools hadn't dealt with the League of Villains. On a roof of a nearby building, members of the League of Villains watched. One of them was Shigaraki. Another was Jack Attack. "You were right," admitted Shigaraki. "Why attack one hero school, when you can attack them all?" Jack Attack grinned at this statement. And thusly the Nomu invasion began. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 77. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.